Hi guys, on this week's The Movie Club Movies podcast, we've got a really good doozy of a movie, Tammy and the T-Rex, with guest host Emily from our past The Movie Club movie night showings, an original The Movie Club movie member, all-star guest, my friend Emily. She brought the movie to my attention, and I'd love to hear her thoughts while we cover the movie Tammy and the T-Rex. The Movie Club movies! Today we're going to feature Tammy and the T-Rex, or Tanny and the Teenage T-Rex. It's directed by Stewart Raffill and written by Raffill and Gary Brockett. That's from Wikipedia. Other movies directed by Stewart Raffill are Ice Pirates, Blag, Mac and Me, Hurrah! Mannequin 2, Passenger 57, and Sci-Fi Channel's Croc. 2007, Sirens of the Caribbean, originally released as Bad Girl Island, shot on location in the Bahamas. Do you have any thoughts on that? You didn't want to chime in on any of that? No, I was like, okay. I found that hilarious.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. But I thought you were going to talk about, and I don't know very much about it, is a movie called The Philadelphia Experiment, which I guess was kind of a big movie.
That he directed or wrote?
Yeah, he directed it. I don't think he wrote it. But never mind. Sorry.
It's okay.
But yeah, what was the name of that movie?
Oh, the one about the women.
Yes.
Really? Okay. It's two titles: Sirens of the Caribbean,
yes,
or Bad Girl Island. But he did do Mannequin 2, Mac and Me, and I just added Hurrah. So I don't know if you thought I was talking about it. Blag. Just because these movies are terrible. Ice Pirates we watched as a
any other movie by this guy. I think this is the only one I've seen.
Oh, okay. Well,
I know I need to, like, for cinema as a cinephile, if you will. I need to see Mac and Me. Because they talked about it a lot in the commentary for Tanny, which we'll get into. But yeah, lots of fun. Apparently the producer still has, like, the Mac. Any wilds.
The suit or something?
Still fresh with, like, the audio commentary, so I'm just, like, thinking about, like, this guy is weird, Stewart Raffill. He's kind of a weirdo.
I'm so surprised you haven't seen Mac and Me.
I know.
But
you know what it is?
I'm not going to, like, poke fun at you. I thought that movie you had seen or something.
No, you know what? It's honestly, like, I'm not super into, like, this movie's bad and that's why it's good. Like, I'm not necessarily that kind of person.
Sure.
I think the thing with Tammy is that it was an inside joke in my family since 94. We probably watched it on TV, or it was like it wasn't made for TV, but it didn't get a theatrical release. It was only on television. I was like 5 maybe, and maybe 4, and I don't remember it very well.
You don't remember seeing it on TV very well?
I remember that I had seen it. I assume it was on TV. I don't remember, like, the context.
That's awesome, though. That's awesome.
But I know that I saw it, and I know that it became, like, a inside joke in my family. Like, this is the worst movie ever made.
Yeah.
Because it was. I mean, I don't know if they would have felt differently if they saw the version, the good version, the one like the Vinegar Syndrome version. Yeah. But it was just a fun joke to just be like, oh, Tammy and the T-Rex. I don't even know why it was a joke necessarily. It was just like, I don't know.
No, I get it. Like, my family has Mars attacks, and I didn't mind it. But my whole family was like, this is terrible. And I was like, yeah. I kind of had fun. It just wasn't what we thought it was as a
Yeah.
family. Nice people.
It didn't do well, right? Like critically, I don't think it did.
Really? I mean, but it seems to like have flattened out. Like, I mean.
Oh yeah, I think in
But that's my family's movie, and it's just like.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
You know, is Tammy and the T-Rex as bad as Mars Attacks? I think so. Especially the gore version that I did watch this time around. Maybe this is a good point to segue that I know Emily from work. And when the Movie Club Movies was trying to figure itself out, we had a venue, I had enough friends and like a circle of movie supporters and support, and Emily had known of this and came at me with a movie, which was the whole deal of Movie Club Movies. Is what do you have to say? Have you seen? And she's like, have you seen Tammy and the T-Rex? And I remember the cover, and I will also say I just remember, like you remember the TV version. It's been on the shelf or something, and Emily opened my eyes to this movie single-handedly, and it was one of the like unofficial official Movie Club Movies showings with A Motion Studio, big screen TV, and my first viewing of Tammy and the T-Rex. Emily. Yeah, Movie Club Movies.
Roger.
All-star.
Yeah, thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you. Yeah, well, I did a lot for Movie Club Movies, including being too drunk and falling asleep.
Do you remember what movie that is?
No, it happened a couple of times, I think.
I give you a pass because it was always after shifts, and how could we blame anybody, myself included?
Yeah, it was, I think Vampire's Kiss?
Oh, yeah. I love that. Yeah, it was a great one.
Did we watch that one, or was it?
Yes.
Okay.
But we would do double features, so if you're thinking of a second movie, we most likely did play a second movie that night.
What's the Nicolas Cage movie where he's a EMT?
Yeah, Bringing Out the Dead. Yeah.
Which I remember seeing years later, and I was like, oh man, that's so good. I think I don't remember, I barely remember it from Movie Club.
Well, that's okay. That was probably the late night play, and a bunch of your friends were there, and we all had a great time, and I was with you working double shifts and then doing a Movie Club movie night all night, and that was my deal. But thanks, Emily, for being there. Yeah. And bringing popcorn, most likely.
I probably brought cigarettes.
Okay. Let me get us ramped up into this movie, because I know you have a lot more to say about it. Right. A lot more than Bringing Out the Dead. Makes this movie or the connection of directors in the cycle of this movie makes me think of my recent viewing of Voyage of the Rock Aliens. Was directed by the director of 2 Clint Eastwood and a Chuck Norris movies. He directed 2 Clint Eastwood movies, a Chuck Norris movie, and then this baffling VHS icon, Voyage of the Rock Aliens, was directed by that director. So I love that a director is going to direct Tanny and the T-Rex, and then, well, Mannequin 2 is not that much different, but Passenger 57, or a movie called Croc. Like, I love that variety from these zany directors. Okay, let me start off that the movie is, as far as I saw, I knew this was going to be tough. Platonic Films?
Yeah. I know, same.
Have you ever heard of that?
No, and I just watching it again last night and then this morning. Because last night I watched it with Dashiell and his sister Lauren, who is our neighbor now, and it was
shouts out
to Dashiell. Oh my god, it was so fun though, and it's
cool.
So fun to watch it with other. We can get into that later.
Oh yeah.
I actually saw it in.
You're saying
in October of 2019, the gore cut, and that was really fun.
And you brought that to my attention also.
You're like, I forget, because you were, I mentioned it, and then you said something like something about it being PG-13, and I was like, no.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
There is a version that is rated R, and
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I saw on this
definitely.
recent viewing.
I'm a great podcast guest.
You are. Bring it on. This is amazing. I'm just going to tell you the statistics to start. So I love your input here. Denise Richards as Tanny. Do you call her Tanny or Tammy? Or Tawny?
It's Tammy. As
Okay.
far as
With an M.
Yeah, with
okay.
M. M is in Mary.
Okay.
As far as I know, that was an accident.
What about M as in Michael, played by Paul Walker?
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful Paul Walker.
Okay. How deep in the Fast and Furious series do you go?
Oh, balls deep. I haven't seen the new one yet, but that's just because I don't think it's available on streaming yet.
Yeah, these last two, I want to kind of rewatch them with some popcorn, and you have to be a part of a service. You can't just, watch one. I have seen the most recent, and I would love to hear your thoughts immediately after.
Yeah,
I won't say anything else.
I'll record my thoughts.
Okay. We'd love to hear them.
Okay.
Smash that message button. TheoForesett as Byron.
Yeah.
JJ Saunders as Sheriff Black. Tip my hat that I have to read that.
What a
EllenDubin
name.
as Holga.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Efren Ramirez as Pizza Delivery Guy.
That's right.
Sean Whalen as Weasel, Billy's henchman. That's, I think, what his name is. Weasel?
Yeah, Weasel. And I think that actor also did, You Got Milk commercials in the 90s. Or not You Got Milk. Got Milk. Just Got Milk.
Okay, well, thanks for delivering it, because now I do have it. Buck Flower as one of those police officers. Mm-hmm. And this guy's, maybe not the best guy, but he's been in some classic roles. Do you know he's in Back to the Future?
No.
So he's read the maybe Town Drunk. And do you know my theory? I'm pretty sure I told you my theory at the restaurant.
On Back to the Future?
Yeah, and his character?
No, remind me.
That he's the drunk going crazy drunk drivers. He may have a drinking problem from losing the mayor position to Goldie Wilson, because Buck Flower, I believe, plays the mayor prior to Goldie being mayor. That's another episode.
Oh my god.
Buck Flower. Okay.
Conspiracies.
I don't think it's a conspiracy. I just think it's like the things you miss as a, 9-year-old watching Back to the Future.
Things you don't think about.
Credits pop as we watch Tanny do cheer dances and exercise like arithmetic movements. Sultry? Voyeuristic? Is me? Am I?
Yeah, so it was really weird listening to the commentary for this, because Stewart Raffill was like, he just kept talking about how innocent Denise Richards is, and how innocent Paul Walker is, and all this stuff. And how
what about Buck Flower?
Actually, he did have a lot to say about Buck Flower.
Is he a sweet guy? I've only it seems like he had a problematic existence.
Oh, I don't know. He was complimentary in the commentary, but yeah. But they were also saying how he literally doesn't know why the title is Tanny and the Teenage T-Rex. No, he did. The guy the interviewer was asking him, and he just plain doesn't remember, which is funny, because I think he just filmed it and then it got edited in a version that he didn't intend it to be, and then just didn't ever watch it again.
Fair enough.
It sounds like until the audio commentary track that I just listened to. That's what it seems like to me.
Credits crashing the scene. Paul Walker walks in, slim, wearing football pads for practice, with dirt sod smear on his face. Future star! Tanny gives him a peck, and we begin... Go ahead.
We're ignoring a very important part, which that Paul Walker is wearing a crop top.
Okay.
It's like a sweater crop top. It's like gray, sort of like sweater type material, like t-shirt. It's cut off on the sleeves and also at the stomach. So he is fully wearing a crop top for like the first 10 minutes of this movie. Just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you. It's high school, right? This is not community college. Okay.
No, that's nice.
He's got a bad back. Michael Bay Transformers seems to be referencing... I think what I'm talking about is like that whole situation, like just like this guy walking with his babe. I feel like Megan Fox and Shia LaBeouf. There's some brushstrokes of Michael Bay. Byron is flamboyant.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was truly making the three of them laugh. Although,
Yes.
obviously not well written, but I think the actors themselves, or the human beings, these personalities, are like enjoying themselves.
Yes.
Maybe that's the best way I could put it. Did you?
Yeah. And I think they were, unless they're all lying. Because from...
Unless they're all acting. I don't know.
Unless they're all acting. Oh, except for George Pilgrim, who played Billy, who is the bully.
Oh, yeah, I missed his name. Thank you, Emily.
Oh, no worries.
I saw that as I was reading.
Yeah, he's just it's a very cool name, which is why I remember it. But he has a whole, like, interview on the DVD, or the Blu-ray, and he's, like, just bitching the whole time about, like, couldn't believe it, me and Paul, we had to grab each other's balls, and blah, 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 and, yeah. It sounded like they had fun sometimes, but he specifically maybe didn't have the most amount of fun. And his whole story is just great, because the way that he talks about it is so casual and kind of like just very like complainy. but I mean, for probably legitimate reasons. Like the whole ball cupping thing was like a last minute addition that they were like, I didn't know I had to do this, and so they had to, like, him and Paul Walker had to, like, work together to figure out how to do it in a way where, like, they weren't actually touching each other's junk, and how, like, the cups were an issue because they couldn't get a good grip on each other because of, like, the cups over their balls. But I digress. We'll get to more about Billy later.
For now, we move to a flower rejection. I love
this.
It's and it's like after a commercial break or something, it's really just like, my back hurts. Oh, again? And then we just see her backpack or whatever this is, this case that she carries, her bookcase, and she's like, I can't accept this. And I was just like, did I miss the flower introduction? And so here's my another brushstroke. Back to the Future Clock Tower Square. Marty getting, I guess, her grandma's phone number, that little scene. I don't know, this little part just, it got me. I wanted to put that in my notes. Stand Up to Bullying, Part 1.
What is happening?
I'm like, this is what's happening in the movie.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it really just kind of gets in, this is, I guess, I'm thinking I'm watching the Vinegar Syndrome's gore. So we're like, they really get into this fight just like after the flower rejection.
Wait, so if we're passing by the flower rejection, can I just say one of my favorite quotes from this movie? So Denise Richards hands Paul Walker, or Tammy hands Michael, the yellow rose, and then he takes a bite out of it, and she says, "You're crazy, you know that? I think that's what I like about you so much." And I don't know why, but that line and her delivery is just like, it's so perfect, because she's just like, there's something about her in this movie specifically that is just so, it's my favorite role that she's ever done. Not just because I love this movie, just because, like, she's so innocent, and she's so, like, not polished, and it's just, and she's just, like, looks like she's on the verge of laughing the entire movie, and it's just a lot of fun. But I love that line. I think that's what I like about you so much.
Michael, you gotta get out of here. I'm not running from this guy, Tammy. He's going to hurt you.
If he touches me, I'm gonna hurt him back. What the hell do you think you're doing,
Billy,
man?
you're gonna get.
I'm walking with this lady. What do you think you...
I'm walking with this lady.
I'm walking with this lady.
Yeah, so Michael says, hey, I'm walking with this lady. That's my lady. Tanny yells, stop it! I am frightened by the ladies to the side, encouraging and chanting.
Yeah.
Bullying. But
Yeah.
I have a little tidbit, but you might have more from the commentary or personal.
I was actually gonna comment on that. The girl, shit, I don't remember her name. She's the blonde girl who's like trying to get all up on Billy the whole like for the first half of the movie or whatever, and she's just like insane and just like screaming like oh Billy, like but she's wonderful throughout the whole film. And you mentioned like the girls around them screaming, and I love her.
So
she's one of the people in the movie.
I read something that might like give us, you know, depth on the whole episode, but just that the director wanted the actors to kind of like give it their take if they thought of a creative thing, like getting into it and shouting is what I'm, because the group of kids are just going at it. I'm frightened. I really was. I wonder if you had read that same thing. I wonder if that actress is just like, yeah, and I'm gonna yell aggressively a lot.
Sure.
That's
I think they were
hella
all
camera time.
going. They're all like very committed, which is why that's like part of why it's such a good movie, or why it's so fun to watch.
This wasn't what I experienced in Schoolyard Shuffles, but it is what I feared they were, or could be, if I had run into that kind of bullying. This was definitely like some sort of 80s, 90s visualization of like suburban schoolyard scuffling. Two actors fighting it out wrestling. PW's Michael is still in practice football gear, crop top, while Tanny's ex-BF is in Journey frontman Steve Perry in a rock and roll starter kick. They spin, they run, and push. Then Steve Perry goes for a falling elbow.
Yeah.
The ladies continue to rampage, encouraging shout, shout, shout. Byron comes to check it out. Police sirens flash in the background as Steve Perry goes for a gutsy grab. Paul Walker nuts he grabs.
Yes, a testicular standoff, as it is called in the film.
I have that too. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. I also have SP, which is Steve Perry, versus Paul Walker, PW. Both bulges are begrudging. Byron, ooh, good move. Maybe the start of a lot of exaggerated Byron writing and lines.
Can I talk about Byron really quick?
Yes, please do.
I love Byron. I think Byron, I love the subplot with Byron and his dad. I love all that. I love his chemistry with Tammy. I think that every scene of them together is like one of the best scenes in the whole movie. Like, we'll get to it later, but there's a scene later. I'll say what it is later. But he's so good. But also he's not gay. And when I was listening to the commentary, the director's like, yeah, we just wanted, you know, there wasn't a lot of representation back then, and we would have this gay character, and I wanted to be, like, funny gay. Just, like...
The director is saying that.
Yeah, the director is saying that.
So it's like a director.
And I mean, he's not wrong. Not that he's gay he's funny in a gay way, I guess. But I guess there's jokes about it that are kind of funny. But he is, like, I think if he had just played it, like, straight or not made him, like, explicitly a gay man, that he would have been just as funny. And, like, not that it said he should have. I really like his performance. It was just, like, weird.
It's almost like filling this, like, Screech trope of a character. Like, I've been talking on the podcast about sort of the next door neighbor, the Pauly Shore, the Kramer. Even though Byron is his own unique thing, but it is like that character. In Encino Man, maybe Byron would be Stoney to Sean Astin's dude in Encino Man. Anyway, I agree with your 2 cents. That was just how I read it also, just like,
Oh, yeah. No,
I don't know who this man is, but this character is just, I don't know, it's just a sidekick.
And he's so fun. The whole
Fluff.
movie, and then every choice he makes is just, like, hilarious. Just,
Yeah.
he did a really good job, and I really, TheoForesett, I think is his name. And I don't think he did really after that.
Yeah, I looked him up for this, and he hadn't, and it was like, really? Like, not one thing?
He just seemed like a fun guy. Like, it just, I don't know. I love just wacky.
Yeah, cheers for Byron.
It's so fun if you can do that. Like, that's so, I feel like people are so talented if they're able to be like that character. Because, I mean, no offense to, like, Denise Richards or Paul Walker, but they're, like, pretty straight, and, like, their performances weren't as, like, didn't need to have any sort of, like, flair, really, other than...
No, well, we said it at the beginning. We're kind of over-treading ourselves, but we said it at the beginning, like, they're, like, mixing it up. They have some chemistry. The trio, including Byron. So, yeah, they're not jerks. They're, like, they're friends.
They're friends.
It's like, Kenny and Rico from Corvette Summer. They're friends. But there's, like, an edge.
Yeah.
Not this scene, but the scuffle with Paul Walker is, the whole scene is a nightmare, but fun, in my opinion, because of the actors and characters involved and the times they are a change in. Because what the fuck? This scene is deep from a deep 80s biker, paper, pulp, rental. But we kind of covered a little better than that. That's what I wrote, and I like to recite what I wrote as I'm going through these movies.
It's pretty fantastic scene.
It is fantastic or sensational, where it's like, really? We had to go through all that?
Honestly, I think it's the same for that scene as it is for the whole movie, which is that they had access to a lion, and they were like, let's get him in this movie.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like.
And we just keep eating popcorn, because I'm still in my seats.
Yeah.
You know?
Show me your big animatronic dinosaur that you have for 3 weeks, or whatever. And then... and then I want to see your weird lion, and then, you know, some pretty people. Fun.
I have read some OkCupid headlines with the same headline. Cops come. Everyone has something to say about the sitch. Buck Flower is one of the cops. He's a drunk in a dictionary amount of movies. Like I said, he's just in tons of movies, including Back to the Future as Red. We already talked about it. Something about Mary vibes. Rip it off, same time. Oh, they have to disengage grabbing each other's bulges.
Yes.
There's a whole disengagement scene, which is the one, the two.
Beautiful scene.
But I think I'm also writing down things thinking you know what scenes I'm talking about.
No,
so,
I actually did earlier when you were saying one, two.
Sure.
I did. As, me.
Okay.
But actually, I did want to say...
Just, I hope that you know that we're not talking about, like, gremlins. I'm on Tammy the T-Rex this entire time. Okay.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
I know. But I guess, thinking of the testicular standoff.
Yes.
So I just want to say that I saw this movie in theaters in 2019 at the Egyptian Theater. And I think it was like a little bit after, like, I think it was just, like, part of, like, the rollout for this cut. And it was like a brand new movie, everyone's excited, whatever. I got tickets as like a birthday present from Dashel, but it was so much fun because it was the fucking most ridiculous movie. It's one of the most ridiculous movies anyone can ever see.
Yeah.
And I was so stoned.
Air it out.
And it was a theater full of people, and just that, I think when the testicular standoff scene came up, and everyone was just, like, crying, laughing, that, like, I knew this was going to be, like, the best movie theater experience I've ever. And I truly actually do think it was. It was so much fun. It was just ridiculous.
Do you remember that Michael had a cup?
He sure did, yes.
He could have been dead. 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 Tanny yells, "Leave me alone!" Bumblebee always says, "True love never fails, honey." Steve Perry always says, "Lights!" Weekend at Bernie's, Mannequin on the Move, and a soap opera career, our third rising star, TerryKiser as Dr. Gunther Wackenstein?
That sounds right. I think it's supposed to be like Frankenstein, but not.
Wackenstein? He has a T-Rex model, comma, robot, comma, animatronics? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
I mean, so, I
Do
guess.
you know more about the story of this lion? This dino?
I mean, so all I know really is the studio wanted them to make a movie, and Stewart Raffill, got access to some like big animatronic dinosaur, and I don't even know if he'd seen it yet because according to the interview with George Pilgrim, who played Billy, he was saying how like the original version of the script, it was more of like a straight up horror. But then when they saw the dinosaur and saw how not realistic it was, and how like it was not a Jurassic Park type thing that he thought it was, I think a little bit, then he decided to make it more of a comedy. And actually, I think that's why Kaiser is in it, is because he wanted to make a comedy. It's like, okay, I'm gonna get Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's, and EllenDubin, who was a comedy actress at the time, maybe still, I'm not sure. I don't know very much about her, but
I looked her up because this role's bonkers, and I'll just add that she's in a lot of stuff, and she does voiceover on major cartoons now, which is like good. Yeah, she's good to go. But
yeah,
I
feel like
wondered if you were like, if you gravitated to this actress, like she's not Denise Richards, it's the Olga character, so it's like, does anybody care about who is this person? She's stealing the show.
yeah,
I
she's
think.
so good.
My opinion, I guess.
She has a lot of great outfits, a lot of great gags. She's really wonderful.
Did you
And
like
actually,
TerryKiser in any of those movies I mentioned? Like, are you familiar with Weekend at Bernie's, Mannequin 2, Mannequin 1, or soap operas that he was in?
no,
Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else. Because I've not. You know what? I must have seen Mannequin. I'm pretty sure I have seen Mannequin. Don't remember anything about it. I don't think I've seen Mannequin 2. I have not. I don't think I've ever watched a soap opera ever in my life, or anything else. But I love him in this. He's great. He's hilarious. I know. I feel like again there's a big gap in my film knowledge.
Have you heard of this podcast called #TMCMS, the Movie Club Movies podcast? Check us out.
Everyone's the Movie Club Movies podcast.
Oh, cool. Right on.
Of course.
That's my lady, all right? Billy, leave him alone. What you crazy, man? What you mean, man? Hey, come on. You know something? I'm not gonna kill you this time. It's cool. Stop it!
She has some of the best, like, she does that a lot in this movie, like like, it's so, she's so great in this.
Back to the dinosaur. A dinosaur like this, I remember being at our City Center Science Exploration Interactivity Center. Did you have one of these? Like every school season we would visit, like lots of science interactions for kids. And I would make my mom spend like $100 on dinosaur erasers or whatever. You know, like it would just be about the souvenir shop. But they would be these big dinosaurs. I'm sure they still do stuff like this. But let me magnify this a little bit. Is the T-Rex a pale green, a pale white, like Jurassic World? Would the exhibit be able to airbrush the color as they choose, maybe because of lighting or scenery, as the exhibition could artistically direct the model? Like the actual, like each museum could be like, well, you know, we've got like this, we've got natural light coming in, so we need to airbrush this dino like this for this exhibit. Did you have any thoughts like Did you think about this actual...
The way the dinosaur looked?
The actual prop of this dino is very pale green. Or it could be lighting. My mistake. But I also just kind of was like, this is like Jurassic World's albino dino.
I didn't notice. I didn't even think about it.
And then I just thought about the production of these exhibitions in real life. Wherever that dino is really going in Texas, like once it's there, it's like, oh, well, it's around a bunch of trees. So we'd airbrush the dinosaur very green, you know, like like the person who gets paid, you know, 5 figures at the museum to do that. I don't know, just my thoughts. TerryKiser has a tank top, musclehead henchman, and fantastically vixen-esque 90s evil neighbor on Friends, or terrible Chandler date, Holga, EllenDubin. She's almost like would have been on Friends as like a bad date Chandler went on. You know, if she wasn't dressed as a like Carmen Electra, you know, in this movie.
You said evil neighbor, and then I thought about Ursula. I thought about the TV's twin sister Ursula. Like, she would have maybe dressed like that.
Yeah, if it was.
I'm just thinking of Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion, because I feel like they kind of dressed all crazy like that. But yeah, point is, she's very interesting looking, and it's great wardrobe. Lots of boobies. Fantastic.
So he has a technician controlling the dino with a sophisticated computer, eyes, hands, and with some camera work, they play, I might have missed something here, a ferocious teenager T-Rex becomes steer clear of this T-Rex. I don't know what I was saying there, but steer clear of this T-Rex. His little arms, his mouth, show me his power. He lifts a barbell. I'd like to see you do that, Emily. Listener, lift a barbell.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Stop being so lazy. Lift a barbell. For once in your goddamn life. Sorry, can I say goddamn?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
It's your choice, Emily. It's your choice. A young-faced actor plays the technician scientist. He's the smaller guy.
Yeah.
I don't want to brush over him, but I brush over him.
I said he's so small, how do you not?
Well, yeah.
Brush over.
Even TerryKiser is, I guess. He will give him a brain. We now go to a typical suburban residence, a ranch home. Are we in San Dimas? LA County Schools?
I think it is the Valley. I think it's like near Thousand Oaks Moore Park. I feel like he mentioned in the audio commentary that it's like near his house, and that's why it was filmed there. It's because it was close to his house.
Everything was 25 minutes away, something like that. I also have shooting locations being in, I almost don't want to spoil the whole thing, New Jersey.
What?
Let's believe this is all happening in San Dimas. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Everybody.
Close enough.
Michael is jamming to some 90s, 80s. Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes I like to say, like, yeah, that's like 90s, 80s. Or sometimes I feel like it's like, that's like 80s, 90s. I don't know. I just hear it. It's like a little like...
No, I get what you mean. It's like more 90s than it is 80s, but it's still kind of 80s.
Yeah, and it's usually in a movie like this. And you're like, my cousin, he laid down some tracks. Those tracks are like from like 1983, man. They're tracks. I paid him in sodas, okay? Back off. All right. He's checking out a necklace. Michael is. Tanny calls him. She apologizes. This is a really sweet scene. Do you remember that? She's just like, they've just got her like, they've got the Vaseline around the camera lens, and she's just like pouring her heart out with the tendrils of the phone.
They're all red and watery.
And like the director's cut has Freddie's tongue coming out of the thing, and she's like, Michael, and it's like, Freddie. She looks.
You know, that scene is funny because it's like she's like very emotional in it, and she's like crying, and her eyes are all red and puffy. And then you cut to Paul Walker's character, who's just like, "Oh boy, I'm gonna get laid," and he's just like, she's like, "I'm sorry, Michael, come over." And he's like, "Oh boy, sure." And he's all like excited, and then he hangs up and he's like, "Yes." But it's just like, It's really wonderful. Like, these choices that these actors made and, like, the editing is just so beautiful. Especially them, too. They're just so innocent and really, like, going straight, you know, with it. Really trying to play it straight. It's really beautiful.
Did you watch the movie Corvette Summer? It's okay if you didn't.
No, I didn't.
Kenny and Vanessa have a similar vibe. And now that we've
Oh.
kind of talked about it, it's like very clear. Like, these are classic romances in the movie club movies history. Tanny and Michael. She looks like she has been crying for a while, and that's freaking amazing acting. I wrote that, Emily.
I believe you.
Okay.
I agree with you. Well, according to Stewart, which who the fuck knows? It's been like 30 years. But when he recorded the commentary, he said that she just did it on her own. And he's like, she could have done the eye drop thing, but she didn't. She did it herself. And so, you know, kudos to her.
Of course, she lights up the screen with beauty. She asks him to come over. Like Emily said, he's really immaturely giddy, but I don't know. Like, it's kind of fun high school attitude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
PW is obviously charming. He's charming half of my shirt off.
He's adorable.
In my opinion, Michael is performing at a different pace than Tanny. He is ecstatic, and she is kind of emo, kind of Selena Gomez, just monotone, just simply mentions she's happy when he's around. I'm kind of like retracing what we just talked about. Michael jumping for glee out of his room. This scene could have been a 902... Oh, sorry. This scene could have been a 90s 210 spin-off pilot. We're 11 minutes into the movie. You don't agree with that? PW is looking like he's auditioning for some sort of 90s 210 spin-off. I don't know.
Maybe you're just, maybe you're just acknowledging the star power that he had, which I would imagine a lot of those actors in those TV shows had.
They felt like
so
they
you're
had
just
it.
recognizing the talent that he had. That's all that says.
PW has SP. Another killer 90s, 80s cut. He kisses a stamp and takes the bracelet, anklet. I was confused at first watch here. I did say anklet. I think it's a bracelet. He arrives at another idealistic suburban plot of angled architecture. Makes me wonder if the kitchen is wood grain and brass and how thick the carpeting is. Also, this is a house I would see in the wooded, nicer neighborhoods. Michael balance beams himself into her bed through the window. Whoa. Michael balance beams himself into her bedroom window while the two glow ladies of wrestling ride by in their coolin' Jeep. Look at what's going on. This guy Michael sneaking for the sweets? What will the lead singer of Journey think? Because this is when those two ruckus ladies are rolling in, and everybody's got these. What is it?
Oh, no, I made the point to just look up what this woman's. Oh, Wendy.
The character?
Yes, the blonde girl who's like all up in Billy's business. Her name is Wendy. Just wanted to remember that.
Is it the glamorous ladies of wrestling glow? Do you not know?
Like, does she seem like she would be one of them? Yes. She's just hilarious because they stop in front of the house. She's like, check that out. And it's just Paul Walker very, like, conspicuously climbing up the trellis into her room. She's like, oh, let's do this. No, let's call Billy. And then, yeah, it's just like, she's so great in this whole movie. I love her so much.
Makeout time and rumbles in the bedroom above. Her father calls to say, keep it down.
Yeah.
Oh, Dad, I wasn't playing Wordle, I was studying. Soon the skulls arrive and force the dad to open the door. And this possessive hood have their way into Tammy's BR while Michael flees. He wants to confront the front man. However, for the safety of others, he runs. Tanny's mom informs the phone. It's a gangbang. Did you hear that part?
I missed that, I guess.
I wondered if that was like on the vinegar. She says that phrase.
Oh, I mean, they're
I mean, it's comedy, you know.
when it's happening. Yeah, every line in this is intentional.
Yeah, it's like I don't know what I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's like just weird. Just what's the most outlandish thing this person can say in this moment? Oh, it's a gangbang.
Michael! 5.0. Jeeps and convertible Pontiacs spill out into the suburban streets, and hey, it's 25 around here. It's Transformers. Roll out. Looking. It looks like a Michael Bay Transformers transition scene or whatever. Like, we're rolling up to Shia LaBeouf's house, and there's like, 5 Transformers as cars on screen. Okay.
I'm sure they would be so glad to hear you comparing this movie to Transformers.
The people? Yes.
Or any Michael Bay movie.
Well, I'm gonna continue. Whacked with a back and then talked in an intimidating sounding voice. Spider makes his intentions known. It's deep, man. Roach from People Under the Stairs is there. How far you going, boss? Puffs of silver paint. Witness me. Are you familiar with People Under the Stairs? I know you're laughing at my writing. I want you to laugh at my writing.
I've seen it. I fell asleep during it. I still need to rewatch it. Are you talking about Sean Whalen, Weasel?
Yeah. He's in this scene, and I think he plays Roach. And then I think I didn't know necessarily who this Billy was, and I'm calling him Spider. And he's just getting deep. He was like, earlier he was like, you're dead. And now he's like, if I catch you around here, it's the bullshit that bullies say. It's deep, man.
Yeah, that guy was not having a fun time.
And I don't know, Scott Whalen, what's his name? Sean Whalen?
Sean Whalen.
He reminds me of...
Are you talking about Nicholas Holt's character who sniffs the...
Yeah. And he's there to harm them, but he becomes their friend. That's who Sean Whalen kind of reminds me of.
Oh, funny. That's not how it turns out for him in this movie, unfortunately. But
we see a lion. I'm going to let you go, asshole. # thank you. Next time, I'll kill you. Ladies of Glow laugh as spectators. Paul Walker becomes the prey. Oh, shit.
Oh, man.
Game Warden, as you can see by the tape on his car door, shoots and clears Michael of a lion attack. Ambulance, lights flare. Sirens.
Yeah, that guy actually who shot the tranquilizer gun or the shotgun or whatever the fuck that was. It did seem like a real gun, huh? Like a shotgun or something.
He seemed like a real game warden by the sign on his door.
Yes. I don't think he was.
Sold me. Let him in. He's verified. Sure.
He was someone on the film. God damn it. I don't remember now what his job was. He was some AD or something. And he actually, that was his gun. And he was a redneck type guy. And they're just we need someone to shoot a gun.
We see Linda Vista Community Hospital. He is brought to a hospital where his intoxicated uncle watches over him. End quote from Wikipedia.
I mentioned earlier, this is my favorite scene in the movie.
Byron and Tanny show up, fly as hell. In fashion, oh for sure. Tanny in 90s blossom hat, crop bustier, Guess jeans girl top, frayed cowgirl, suede jacket a la Liv Tyler in Aerosmith vid. Speaking of Cher from Clueless, floral skirts, bohem bag, and chunky accessories, purple heels.
Now, Justin, how much research did you do for that description?
I just keep watching these type of movies, 80s and 90s, and also art school and working retail.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
I just keep flowing.
I keep forgetting. Oh my god, though. So
I do have one more.
Yes, go for it.
Byron in an almost Jordan white jogging suit, however modified as a handmade couture pattern hoodie and matching pants as a set hooked up. There's much more to his outfit than that, but I needed to remark on our heroes.
Heroes they are, too. Fashion heroes.
What did you want to say? We're in that scene. They're all there.
I mean,
Did you want to talk about what they were wearing?
yeah, I mean, well, I guess as far as the fashion goes, you covered it, except for I just want to emphasize how
Please.
gorgeous her shoes are. There are those chunky heels. They're open toe, chunky, and they're like blue, like a beautiful blue teal, but like more blue color. And they're just the most beautiful shoes I've ever seen. And also the receptionist has those crazy nails, and she's wonderful. If we're just talking about fashion right now, we got EllenDubin, Olga.
Yeah.
She's wearing that crazy purple dress where like the boobs. I guess this is audio. Like she has like the.
Hey, we don't want to see it over here. It's a family cam or whatever. I don't know. I'm into this. Go for it.
Yeah, I just thought like her outfit's fantastic. Like that whole sequence, that's just the reception area. You have Denise Richards.
They come in, fly as hell. They do.
Fly as hell, and they're both like acting their hearts out.
Yes.
They're so worried about Mike.
And other podcasts I listen to would remark on they're young and they're just in the prime of their lives, and even before then, actually, just before prime.
This first movie.
Glowing, handsome, and
Yeah.
energetic.
And what's fun about it is that, well, just like listening to her interview, which wasn't super substantive, but because she's probably just like, what movie? What was this movie? Oh right, forgot about that movie.
Here, let me pull over my Ferrari for a moment.
Yeah, but she was just I think mostly she was her main thing was how afraid she was of getting fired the whole time, just because it was her first movie and she was so scared.
Incredible.
Like, I don't think there was anyone give her a reason to be scared. I think she was just like nervous, and she said something really funny, which was like, so I kept going like, okay, if I can last this long, it's gonna be too expensive to replace me. So as long as I can last that long, then I can keep being in this movie. And she was just so nervous, but she did such a good job. Like, it's cute to think about. Like, she just seems so young and so fresh and new and everything. And you watch her in these scenes, and it's clear she's not like she's not like an Academy Award winning actress.
No. Yeah.
But it's cute. Like, she's like, it seems very genuine. Like, this is probably who she actually is. And then, and she's just having fun. And
it's like the best, it's the right intentions, the best intentions for your first endeavor or your first intention. It's like, I can't believe she's thinking would get fired. It's almost like you have to be on screen, like you're magnetic, this entire thing. I totally agree.
It was one of her first, so she was, worried for that reason, I think. And it's so cute. It's funny. And her, I think she's just very, like, posh in the interview. It's very set up and curated and stuff. And I think she's just like, well, I have to be nice. I have to say nice things. And I have to whatever. But it was really sweet. It's a really sweet interview.
Local yokel is passing out. That's Uncle Bob, you say. Michael looks horrifying, like when Greg Kinnear presents his tragic beating in the hospital to Oscar-winning supporting actor Cuba Gooding Jr. When he just looks, that's an awful hospital moment. The makeup, he looks awful. Michael looks dead and awful. It's chilling. I should have just said it's chilling. I over-explained it.
I love that scene because he super does not look dead. He looks like he's like about to break into laughter the whole time. It's wonderful.
Well, Greg Kinnear does too. The ex-boyfriend shows up at the hospital. This Steve Perry dude. shows up at the hospital. I mean, how many days did this guy shoot for? Just as Tanny is caring for her new beau, Tanny takes care of these fools in one kick to the nards. Byron is there with amazing friendly support and fists. I'll give you two of them so you know what I mean, Emily. Roach says the B word. Sorry. Not you.
I was just gonna say, like, they just have these great fists that they hold up to them. Just like, they're very, like, intimidating to Denise and Theo.
And Tammy cuts him down to size, which is kind of hot. LOL.
It is funny how hot it is. She's so great.
Everyone is...
Everything, every choice just seems so like it's like improvised. Like maybe a lot of it was. Like that's the impression I get.
Do you agree though? She kind of takes over that scene?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Everyone is paying high fives. Thank you. We are having fun. It says it right there. Okay. Right?
We are having fun.
Wait, did we go on mute? We didn't go on mute. Okay. Olga shows up and shows off. In a purple accent piece herself, along with Dr. Gunther, they visit Michael, and Roger Lodge as an doctor.
Oh yeah.
Let's see what I can do. I think I'm on the verge of a breakthrough. Okay, I'm gonna say it. Nurse Helga is T.O. Tanny wears a heart necklace that reminds me of She-Ra. Let me see. Michael, no!
No!
And so I actually missed a note here. I thought I wrote down that when Dr. Gunther is talking to the Roger Lodge, there is like, it's very hushed and whispered. Oh, doctor, yes, nice to see you. What have you been doing on that project? And TerryKiser has a cigarette, and then at the end of the scene, he gives the cigarette almost like an autograph to the doctor. And the doctor, in very low, this is all very low, is like, oh, thanks. Did you see all that?
Yeah, I think it's more like, I could be wrong, but I think he says like, thank you, hands him the cigarette, and then the other doctor's like, no, oh yeah, you're welcome, thank you. And he's like thanking him for the cigarette.
Yeah, I love that. I don't know what happened to that note, but it was such a
very silly.
Yeah, a little whisper scene. In the way Gene Wilder shouts in Haunted Honeymoon, live! 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 Tyler, I was crying when I met you. Now I'm dying to forget you. Michael's uncle is drunk as hell. Michael is carted out and coming out of his coma, and I thought he was wasted the entire movie. I kind of remember him just being killed off, so to say, earlier. I'm saying to myself, I forgot he was in a coma at all. I can't believe they took him out of the movie, even for this amount of time. Something about this made me think he was in it more, not in a coma. I don't know what I'm thinking about, but I do.
Yeah, there was one thing, and I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, I was going to say that Uncle Bob, the actor who played Uncle Bob, was at the screening that I went to, and they did a Q&A after the movie, and it seemed like the actor was very drunk. So I think that's just what he does, maybe. He's just like, I'm going to be in this movie, I'll be really drunk. Oh, yes, that's him. No, I don't know. He might not have been, but I don't know. It seemed like it, kind of. That's all I was going to say.
I've got more jokes. This one from TerryKiser. He says he thinks he was in The Wizard of Oz. We have jokes. They pull up to T-Rex as a parking spot opens in their scientific garage. Yeah, they just pull right up to their, like, sort of makeshift garage science factory. The patient is ready. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Let's get into brain surgery. I love the knife effect. Basically looks like raspberry jam. A saw starts and Michael wakes up.
Yeah.
They go for it. Breaks some eggs and omelets. And we're getting into the gore scene, probably the first major. And I'm glancing over it because this is not my forte. Do you have more to say about this is where he's cutting Michael's head open. There's a lot of effect there. Then he's pulling this brain out. It's like jam.
Right. Well, it's I think they were saying that some of it was, well, maybe not this scene, a later scene. I think there were like actual deaths of animals. But I was just gonna say about this scene that I'm not like a special effects expert or anything, but like
Do you enjoy it in your films? Do you get into a slasher film because of the effect? Or any film because of the
love
effect?
If they're done well. I hate effects if they're done poorly.
Sure.
No, I mean poorly contextually. Like it pisses me the fuck off when like big budget Hollywood movies just use CGI when it would look better a different way. It's just like why are you even making a movie? My point being that in this 1994 movie, the corpse, I guess, of Paul Walker, when they're taking off the top of the brain and taking the brain out and all of that, it looks so good.
I agree.
Like, that I just remember being impressed with that, just because you don't expect much from this movie, because it had a budget of like $1 million, I think, and they were very time constrained, so it's just like you got to take like the cool stuff when you see it, and I think they did a good job with that. And also just like that whole scene is just like people smoking and eating and like putting their hands near their mouths while also blood's flying everywhere. They're like poking the brain. You remember that part of it?
Oh yeah.
So he like pokes the different parts of the brain with his needle, with like the needle that's like it's like the brain is in a petri dish, and he has like these wires that connect to the animatronics of the dinosaur, and he's like stabbing like the needles into the brain, and like depending on where he stabs it, like he kicks his leg and then he stabs it again, and it makes his dick like all boing. And it's a fun time. It's just a very silly, stupid movie.
Can I cut in here?
Yes, go for it, please.
I hope my brain, when opened, sounds like Pop Rocks. Michael's kind of sounds like a melting popsicle.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, the jokes about popping a boner with brain stimulation had me rolling. Where did they come up with this stuff? He's lost his mind, the little guy says.
Oh my god.
The brain is out and put into green Kool-Aid. That's bubbling. They place pins and tubes in it. This bowl for the brain is connected to the T-Rex or the T-Rex control computer. However, TK makes the dino kick his henchman.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, his big
action scene.
Henchman. I forget that guy's name.
Speak to me! Success! I wanted to record that little part. I couldn't catch it. Size more plates of food. We offer a basic plate of food, a couple slices of bread, a piece of lettuce, not two, 2 tomato slices, not one, and maybe a pretzel stick or a fork, served on a flimsy white plate, as seen in My Cousin Vinny, the birdcage, and our grapes roll around on the plate. Find them at most supermarkets. Gnarly, snarly, growly, gnarling, snarling, growling, T-Rex. There is a final lobotomy to be performed in the morning when the brain regains consciousness. The small scientist has some shit talking, and the 2 sexy villains go off with each other. And I think, are we talking about pizza at this point?
I think so. I think that's.
Do you remember them talking about that? It's another sort of whispery.
They talk about how. Yeah, I don't really remember. I just remember him saying that he's hungry, and then the guy tells him to order pizza.
Yeah, TerryKiser is like, order pizza. Like, all right, dude. Thanks, annoying neighbor from downstairs. We can have a space for a promo here. My next headline is pizza delivery, and I don't mind talking in the record here. This is where we're going to get a flash of Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite. Are you gonna want to expand on that? I really wondered about that.
I mean, only to say that.
Do you have something to say about him?
Not really.
Okay. Well, Mike, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's just like being around Raj and the movie club sort of.
Oh yeah.
When the movie club was asleep, it's basically like I was talking to Raj, you know? And Raj loved Napoleon Dynamite. And who's to stop Raj from talking about it? So I almost feel like we all like Napoleon Dynamite. And it's like, wait, we should talk about Pedro. But maybe you're like, dude, I hate that movie. Or again, maybe you like love. That's awesome that he's in this.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I think is crazy. It's like at least 10 years before Napoleon Dynamite, where he played a high school student. Just saying. That's all I was gonna say. It's just insane.
Oh well, wait. Okay, so I'm saying like get into it because what did you just say? That's incredible. That's incredible. Go ahead.
It was just funny because I think we noticed it. It was not a great quality video, but it was just because there wasn't any available.
Yeah, I definitely had never caught this movie.
And like the best quality version possible. I think you did, and it still wasn't very good. I just like no one. Maybe I was the only one in the world who even remembered this movie.
So you're saying we couldn't recognize him necessarily? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, I'm saying that it's a miracle that I did.
Oh. Amazing.
He shows up, and I'm like, that's Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite. And
I said, is that Ernie Reyes Jr.? My brain is like, who do I know this guy from? That's what I have in my notes. I was like trying to generate.
Yeah,
is he somebody? What's up?
And then it's funny because when I was listening to the commentary, the guy who is the interviewer, who works for Vinegar Syndrome, who's like, where did you find that guy? Who is that? Is that one of your friends? And they're all talking. And I just wanted to scream at them, that's Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite! One of you has to acknowledge that. And they didn't.
Pizza guy is scared off. Henchman and small guy scientist take some pizza together and eat it. Talking shit and carrying on like Bebop and Rocksteady.
Idiots. I
cut you off, but I want to contain us. You mentioned a really interesting statement that Efren Ramirez played a high school student 10 years after this movie? Roughly? Because, if this is 93, I guess 2002, 2004 that movie came out.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
I want to say 2004.
He's playing a pizza guy who could be a high school student, I guess, but really would be like post-high school. But that casting, what range? Then I kind of catch up with him later in life, around the movie club time, with Crank. And Crank 2, his brother and him are a part of that movie. And I'm not all into that movie. I've seen it. But he's, I think, not a henchman, but like a boss.
Oh, shit.
Have you seen those movies?
No.
Okay.
I think we tried to watch the first one, and I got bored.
Sure, and it's heavy violence, so it's not for everybody.
I mean, no, I like violence.
Amy Smart.
Maybe, I know. I like her, too. She's cool. There's something about the pacing or something, or maybe I wasn't in the right frame of mind. I need to rewatch it. I'm sure I would like it more if I'd given the right context.
Maybe get your head screwed on straight. Michael's head dome is put back on. This is all gross and wet with raspberry. Small scientist is a meanie and creeps on everybody. I've said this like 3 times. He's talking shit the whole time. You're noticing that, right?
Oh yeah, he's a little weasel.
He's a little meanie, yeah.
Okay. He's a little meanie.
This must have been a sticky week for the actor. Just then, Rexy takes a goopy bite off the scientist's head and consoles over Michael's hollowed out body. Let me see with this mirror here. I look like me. I look lovely. I look like a dino football player. And he begins to rush towards the henchman and crashes him through the back door. There's a dinosaur here. He just crushed a man. And he's coming for me. All said by a payphone user. Michael, as the T-Rex, makes a call. Hi, it's Tanny's message machine.
Yes. Wait. I have some thoughts because I know what this scene is. I know that he's calling, and there's that scene where he calls, and it's the message machine. You see the picture of Denise Richards, so you know it's her bedroom. But more importantly, you see it opens on her bed, and there is inexplicably like a racist caricature black doll on the bed. Did you not notice that?
I may have noticed that. I didn't notice that this round.
It is just a whole, just really fucking weird choice that is hilarious in its own way.
Yeah, puzzling.
Really, like, bizarre and interesting. It's just, you didn't notice it? It was like, it's like a doll with like a dress, and it just, I guess the material is just black.
Hold on a second. The guy who does lighting is gonna walk through here for a moment. Hold on, just give him a moment. Yeah, I'm here. Okay, let me just fix this. You know what this place needs? It needs a little racism right here on the bed. Okay, bud. Okay. Emily, he left now.
Good.
I don't know.
He's
I don't
weird.
know. I don't think he understands the neutral system, but
Okay.
I didn't notice
Amazing.
this time around.
It's an amazing scene because of that, but also because they make a point to panning to a photograph of Denise Richards, so you know it's her bedroom.
Yes.
And also that just the whole sequence of the T-Rex grabbing the phone with his little T-Rex
arms,
putting the phone to his head near his mouth, but there's nowhere nowhere close to wherever his ear is. I don't know how T-Rex ears work, but I assume it's way farther away than his mouth. Not that it matters.
But he's a teenager. He hears the phone. He hears.
Teenagers have an inherent instinct for hearing phones. But it's just great. And then he he dials the number with this little T-Rex claw, and then afterward he checks the coin slot for change, and it's just beautiful. That's just so hilarious.
You said beautiful. One of my beautiful memories from the movie club movie night, which this was a part of, is that this scene got me this might be one of the top scenes in my movie club experience, is checking the coin slot for the refund or however that works, because I was calling it out, sort of however you do that, under your thoughts. I was like, now if he checks for change, I will be on the floor, and I was. That's one of the funniest things in a comedy ever. And you mentioned he heavy breathes is all he can do. Mm-hmm. It's just a heavy breath.
you hear him on Tammy's voicemail, or her.
You're right. Answering machine.
Answering machine.
Yeah.
So you hear him on Tammy's answering machine, and it's just.
Be my Valentine. The crush on the henchman is so smortastic. He squashed him. After the call, T-Rex checks for change return. LMAO, a DD and her date walk out of the bar that is behind the Scientific Center for Garage Sciences. Did you notice that? He just left the Scientific Center and came to that dive bar where the payphone is.
Oh, funny.
I don't think the T-Rex left. It's almost like the Burger King that's behind Doc's laboratory in Back to the Future.
Yeah.
It's like there's a Burger King behind it. The man warns his date, and when she is next to T-Rex, they shot this well enough to get the effect to work. That's a garage door. It's time for a movie quote. Escape from New York, John Carpenter. Harry Dean Stanton as Brain. Isaac Hayes as the Duke. The Duke. Snake's been captured after getting shot in the leg with an arrow. Who are you? The Duke. I said, who are you? Brain. Snake Plissken, Duke. The man sent him in. Something's going down. We need him. The Duke. releases the arrow. Snake Plissken, I've heard of you. I think what I'm trying to say here is that they got the effect to work. It's time to party.
Yes.
Band sounds like the sax-toting fire band in Lost Boys.
That would make sense. It's
Have
like
you?
early 90s, late 80s type of like shitty rock, but like maybe there's some saxophone in there, like just awful. Yeah, there's like I actually have a note about the soundtrack just being just bad, just a terrible soundtrack. Like all the music is like nothing I've ever heard before. I've never heard of any of them artists. It's just like maybe people's friends or something. It's just bizarre, but so fun, so fun.
Check out the best dance pink outfit with long blonde hair. Didn't notice her?
What?
Can I do like a part of the dance?
Yes.
You did not notice?
Please.
Okay, not that I'm
I mean, maybe.
a whiz. Oh my gosh, I almost thought this is where it's all okay. I can't.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I don't have a lot of space.
He's gonna start dancing. It's gonna be
I
great.
don't have a lot of space, but maybe I can do it halfway. My chair is falling apart. She kind of is like, like I gotta make sure you see. Like she's kind of like, but it's kind of getting 90s industrial, right? Like, and then she kind of does like, you gotta see that. She kind of does like this, like like. Oh my gosh, I don't know. And the band is like, not that type of music. It's
no. Well, that's yeah. It's just it's funny. The dancing, I think, in that whole scene, like it doesn't seem like it's consistent. Like they're maybe not even listening to anything or
maybe
what.
that's why she's coming up with. I would say it's eclectic. It's like she's kind of like New Kids on the Blocking, and then all of a sudden it's like, I'm on Fish. I'm in a Fish concert, heavy metal industrial. And at the same time, it's like, my boyfriend's directing this. Just tell me where the mac and cheese is. Ladies of Glow dance together, and an overweight biker-looking guy is left to dance alone. One of the ladies looks a bit like Madonna. I think this might be Wendy that you're talking about. And she comes to say sorry to Tammy.
Well, no, there's like a brunette girl who comes up to talk to Tammy, right?
Yeah, I kind of think she's kind of got a Madonna thing.
Oh, you know what? Yeah,
okay.
I agree. I'm remembering what she looks like now. She does kind of look like Madonna.
T and B are dressed up again, and it's super keen. He brings her alcohol. The biker gets his chance to dance with another funky 80s, 90s babe, because I thought you would recognize who I'm talking about. It's just, there's people dancing, women. Billy, Tammy's ex, remember him?
Oh, yeah.
He hasn't been to this location just yet. He gets dropped off to the party, doesn't close the door, and the car pulls off with the door hanging wide.
Great. Didn't notice that. That's hilarious.
It's fine.
One asshole.
If I don't pitch him, you won't swing at him.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I forgot to mention something earlier. I just want to mention it really quick.
Please.
Just a little footnote.
Please.
Earlier, during the testicular torsion scene, one of the cops mentioned that there was a restraining order against Billy from the school. So Billy, like, wasn't allowed at the school because there was a restraining order against him, which I thought was hilarious. Like, the school had a restraining order against him.
You must have done something bad if they're like, we don't even want you to graduate. Don't even try it.
He also has dog tags for some reason, which I thought was interesting. I don't know why. You know, you can wear dog tags even if you're not a vet, but an interesting choice.
Do you remember the movie Streets of Fire?
Yeah, I do.
Do you remember how the lead character, who I'm blanking on his name just now, he's kind of, it's almost like that world. It's like, are you 23 and you're single? Well, you're in the military, bub. And maybe Billy is like from that world. Like, hey, you can't go to school because they have a court order. Oh my gosh. Well, you better be in the military, bud.
You better. Michael Paré.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a fun-ass movie.
Wait, where were we? Okay.
The party.
Yeah, Billy has approached the party. door hanging wide. He zips up his pants. I don't want to see you for the rest of my life ever. And B words thrown around. That's Denise Richards. How do you like the bar scene? Cavemen Ken. You didn't
Sorry,
notice Cavemen Ken?
Who's that?
Maybe did I not watch the correct version? I almost feel like I'm not connecting with you on this scene.
Wait.
Okay,
Caveman.
there is just a small bar, very small bar, like a
I
wedding.
remember that.
Yeah.
And there's a bartender, and he's standing at the bar next to like that redhead girl, and he's like, life isn't fair, or the world isn't fair, or something like that. He's just like being dramatic or something, and there's a bartender who has a comment for him.
We'll get there here in a moment. I don't want to spoil it for you. It'll be exciting.
Okay.
They are at the bar. They are pontificating what has been, I think, what could have attacked Michael, and then maybe they're hearing about some deaths in the area. Everything's 25 minutes away from each other, so maybe they're finding out all about this. And you're right, there's a redheaded gal, and she says, maybe it's a dinosaur. And it reminds me of the 3 men and a baby giraffe scene. I would love to tell you about that scene, but let me recap this so you can find out. Maybe it's a dinosaur. Maybe it's your breath. Love that. Halitosis must be rampant in Hollywood and film sets. Roach is stupid, fooled by the dino, and gets his whiz ripped off, intestines showing as he falls over. Okay, so we're outside of the party, and that weasel gets attacked. He thinks that he might be like stoned. He thinks it's like a statue. What is this? And it just rips him apart.
Who put this thing here? Or who put this thing here? Yeah.
Emily. In 3 Men and a Baby, Colin Quinn plays a newspaper salesman on the streets of New York. And he has like little toys behind him and newspapers in front of him. And Tom Selleck has just got the baby and is like taking a moment to like multitask. He's getting a paper. We've seen him do that in the past. And he's like, how about one of those giraffes also? Colin Quinn turns around and is like, that's not a giraffe, that's a dinosaur. And his like lady co-worker is right next to him. And they're both just acting up a storm. No, that's not a giraffe, that's a dinosaur. See? And they squeeze it and they squeeze it. It burned in my mind first viewing. I was like, what is going on? It was one of the first things I ever searched on the internet. Billy gets busy, and we get some moans in this movie. This movie is going to naughty places, and there is no Snake Plissken around. T-Rex takes her up. Female stunts. Applause.
Yeah, she did that herself, I think. That's what they're saying in the commentary.
I love that. I pictured that, actually, but incredible.
Yeah. It sounded like they did a lot of their own stuff, but I think there were some things they were like George Pilgrim was like, the fight scene with him and Paul. He was saying how Paul wanted to do a thing, and then the director was like, well, no, you can't do it because this is a union shoot, and the stunt people need to do a certain amount of work. So, but other than that, it sounded like they did a lot of their own stunts and whatnot. But I was going to say, before we pass over that sex scene in the car, that they are both fully clothed in that scene. They are both wearing literally all of the same clothes.
What do you mean? That they're kind of dressed the same? Or same that we've seen them in?
Oh, that they were in previously. Like, they're literally not wearing any less clothes than they were earlier in the movie. Like, it's like that sex scene, and he's wearing his jeans still, and she's, like, they're both, like, in their jackets and pants. They're supposed to be believing that they're having sex, but he's, like, thrusting and whatever, but his pants are just on completely. I mean, I suppose it's possible, but it's just funny how, like, that is a funny scene. And then she's, like, screaming from pleasure, and then all of a sudden she's screaming from horror, and he's like, I'm good, right? Yeah.
Yes. Oh, my God. It's bonkers. I just wanted to add, she's wearing, like, leggings and shorts, but then on top of that, like, Alyssa Milano in Double Dragon is wearing, like, lace leggings with, not halter, sexy leggings, but that they're like thigh highs. Anyway, over top of all this stuff. It's like Double Dragon future fashion. T-Rex storms the party. No, it's not Louis Tully. It's shithead Billy getting his head ripped off.
Like all this stuff about coordinating fight scenes with Paul Walker, which sounded fun, but also like the scene where he gets killed, and it's him coming back from the Cadillac where his Wendy just got picked up by the foot. He's running back to warn everybody about the dinosaur, and then you see the dinosaur head come from the top and and then his mouth grabs Billy's head and lifts him up. And I guess that's the last thing they filmed. And he said in the interview that he thinks he almost died. Like, he thinks that he almost got like crushed by the dinosaur mouth, because it does like close in mechanically around his neck. And according to just that interview on the Blu-ray, he got so pissed off and was like, I'm done, I'm fucking done. And then everyone was just like really quiet for a minute, and then they're like, okay, that's a wrap for George.
Byron and T-Rex meet, and T-Rex helps him. The T-Rex glances. I like that. Pizza delivery guy? Yeah, I think is in this part, but it's just a shadowy couple guys, a part of the crew. I don't know, one of them could have been Efren Ramirez. We're just sort of in the general guys, because they're getting killed under their car. Yeah. Jurassic World again, I question? No, Milburn County, comma, question mark, New Jersey, question mark? I looked up...
Why do you think in New Jersey? Did they film in New Jersey?
I looked up Milburn County. It's the patch on the police's uniform.
Oh. I'm sure it's just what they decided to call wherever they were from. I doubt they actually filmed in New Jersey. That would be fucking wild. Because they filmed for like, what, a month? And the budget was so low, I can't imagine them bothering to go to New Jersey.
How about this? The American police are here. Weasel! More gum chewing. Oh, it's popcorn at the crime scene. This is all gross. Buck Flower is chewing and just playing up that he's around a dead body with goo and gore. And he's poking at, like, a face. Caveman Ken is under the bar with Halitosis Girl. She is in shock. No slap. Byron was a witness, and he is a victim of some dumb jokes. His dad is the lead cop here. We mentioned at the very top. His name is, unfortunately, Sheriff Black, or proudly Sheriff Black, bringing true justice to Milburn County, wherever. Big as an elephant. And actually, let me stop, and I want to play, I have some clip of this.
Wonderful.
You want me to slap the girl for you, Sheriff? No. Go find some clues, okay?
It was a dinosaur.
What?
A dinosaur. She's telling the truth, Pop. It was a dinosaur.
Byron, what the hell are you doing here?
I was at the party when it happened.
Oh, gee.
Oh, jeez.
Wait, is that the scene where they're like, I'll slap her. Do you want me to slap her? It's just ridiculous. Both of those cops, those like bumbling sheriff's deputies, are just like, they're really good. They really know the assignment and they do it. And it's just like, they're just really kind of shitty and stupid, and they're a lot of fun. Oh, I said my note for the scene is that it is an accurate portrayal of cops.
I'm actually just trying to let you be heard there.
Oh, yeah. So,
I have the word drugs. I don't know. All I know is, oh, okay.
I think the next scene is EllenDubin rolling up the bodybuilder's body, and she's like licking her fingers because there's blood on them.
Byron is saying he picked me up, dusted me off, and killed those two assholes. That perspective is wild. To be told that's what's happening. Like, to be not there and just be like, a dinosaur picked me up and dusted me off. It's wild.
Yeah.
And they treat him as such. And then
later, he's like,
Holga.
I knew he recognized me.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
And you're right. They go to Holga, talking to the camera. She looks like another actor. I think her hair is lighter in this Canadian sunlight. I'm still was confused on where this is all happening. So I'm just...
It's all California, I think. It's all
I hope
Southern
you're right. I don't know. She was rolling up a flattened body of the tiny scientist. She likes the taste of blood. We now see Tammy in her suburban bedroom, not hearing a T-Rex at her window. Much like Transformers, these folks are in robes, and the teens are screaming and stomping around. I mean, this is just like Shia LaBeouf in the first Transformers. His parents don't hear the Transformers.
Well,
Gosh, Emily.
You know what's so funny though is like she's doing her lipstick in the mirror, and it's like Jurassic Park kind of actually. It didn't occur to me till just now. Where it's just like you think it's like an earthquake. It's like the tremors, and she's just like putting on her lipstick, and she looks confused, and so she holds her mirror so stop shaking. She's still putting on lipstick, and then there's still some shaking. She's just like, oh well. And even with that amount of shaking, like. Even, you know, if you live in LA, if it's like a lot of shaking, everyone freaks out and goes on Twitter or whatever. It's like, oh my God, there's an earthquake. So, but it's just funny, like, with the amount of shaking that's happening, she doesn't care that. She's not that concerned. And it's just funny because then she sees Michael in the mirror, and then she has her hilarious fainting.
Parents.
Did you hear that?
What?
Sounds like Tam.
Oh,
He says Tam, I think.
I don't know if she was ever Tanny, except for that typo in the
Okay.
titles.
Yeah, I wondered if that was going to be a part of our conversation. Especially, you're sort of you're my tour guide with this movie, and I'm sort of thinking I've caught up to a lot of what you liked about this movie. And I was wondering, like, yeah, does anybody really call her by a name that we can clearly hear? A pupusa chair was turned over. We arrive in a barn. So, like, the father does go up to her room, and we see that her chair is turned over, and now we're at a barn. And Michael, as a T-Rex, has his chance to explain to his high school sweetheart, Tawny, I like to play with her name a little bit, he has a yellow flower again, and eats it. He points at her bracelet. She offers. He shakes his finger. No. He points at himself as the dino. Michael, pointing at his head, and back at Tammy. Ears? Sounds like fingers? No. Rain? Pain? Name? Brain? What brain? Points at bracelet. Michael? Brain. 3 times. You have Michael's brain?
Yeah. Before that, when he first like points to the bracelet, she's like, "Oh, you know Michael?" It's like, why would that make more sense? You know Michael.
I love this scene. I loved it.
It's so cute, and you love her because she's just so innocent and like just so naive.
Okay, so we just played Pictionary, and we know Michael's brain is connected with the T-Rex. So Dr. Gunther woke early and finished the procedure. They never covered that was happening. That's just my nerdy moment here. She hugs her huge bow in the barn where circus dinos are stored. Byron shows up at Tammy's place where her parents have reported her window broken to the police, who in the shot are on the driveway and in the window as she and Byron greet each other to the other side of the house. Kind of Wes Anderson looking, if you notice that shot. Because Buck Flowers in the window and everybody's on the driveway and we're seeing everything. Denise Richards walks towards camera from a driveway grotto and she sees Byron. The doggy slippers, Byron is having a Kramer Blazer blazing moment. Tammy whispers to meet up for more information. Tammy thinks it's Donnie Darko. Dr. Gunther is watching the house on a villain date. Byron, his dad, and Tammy all talk it out. Byron learns Michael is still alive. L-I-V-E. We all believe each other.
so you believe me?
Yes, I believe you. But do you believe me?
Of course I do.
Aw, they're good friends. He says, I knew he recognized me. Which I thought was a cute line.
We believe you, Byron. We believe you.
We believe you,
Tammy.
Byron. Hashtag believe Byron.
A funeral is happening. Outfit
my
change
God.
again. And again I say, Captain Ron, Clueless, good style movies. Drunk Uncle Speaks. T-Rex looks on like Tupac at the 1998 Source Awards. What do you have to say about...
First of all, in my notes, the only note that I made sure to write down for the scene that's not just in my brain is that the headstones are crazy looking. There are exactly 2 or 3 headstones in the scene. Clearly they went to like a park or something, and they went to some grassy area, and then they put some it literally looks like they're made out of cardboard. And there's like a bunch of headstones, and they're just like, it's just like a name and then whatever. They look insane. They're very like DIY looking headstones.
Like it would say like Bimbo McGee, or it was just Gary.
Michael / the T-Rex is crying, and there's just like water falling out of his eyes. It's just like they have like some sort of like hose set up or something. It's funny because it's just like water just falling.
And they're gooey. He's crying gooey tears. Drunk Uncle falls over like mannequin on the move. Olga is dressed like Fran Drescher with a dump truck. Because now they've got this yellow dump truck that I love. And Dr. Gunther is in a safari wear, scoping out the funeral. Tammy raids the tomb. It's an esqueleto! Gross maggots, mouses. Dr. Gunther and Olga make their move. T-Rex is there. Byron is shoved into the tomb. Tawny is taken captive. Female fight. Female stunts. Now Olga and Dr. Gunther are in the tomb. And Byron, T-Rex, and Tanny are grass side. We need Dr. Gunther to transfer Michael's brain. Michael catches some breeze in the dino dump truck. There's a great gif I made. Michael as the T-Rex riding in this dump truck with a big dino smile as they roll down what I thought was Sonoma in Northern California. I'll send it to you and we'll have a way to post something like that. Tanny is sweet on him, and in this scene with the yellow garbage truck, it's memorable because it's a big and bright yellow as to transport something as statuesque and unruly as a motorized T-Rex across the city of Alberta. I keep calling it Canada, but we know it's on its way to Texas in reality. Also, in TheoForesett, Teddy has a similar cart truck that Whoopi Goldberg drives as they are cop partners. Did you ever see TheoForesett?
I have.
I'm striking out, Emily.
No, you're not striking out.
It's okay. We need to inform our listeners that Emily is actually a film scholar and doesn't need to watch such garbage movies as she has made a life for herself.
I love garbage movies, but I also sometimes like...
We have you on recording now. Saying that.
Or something. You know, I'm gonna watch 10 Things I Hate About You, but that doesn't mean I'm not gonna also watch this.
I'll watch TheoForesett and just tell you about it. You'll get an extensive email from me. Terry and Olga are held, bound, with rope and are in the passenger side of the dino dump truck with tape over their mouths. I cannot read if it says game warden. I think it reads bongo dog. They want loose. They are struggling. The gang of Byron and Tammy arrive at the morgue looking for Michael's body. This gets epic.
That's a wonderful scene. Of course I remember it. Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. It's just a comedy scene. It's supposed to be horror, kind of, but it's just hilarious. And the scene where, I like the part where Byron reveals a man, and Denise comes over, and she's just like, I don't know. And then they lift up the blanket to show his package, I guess. And she's like, no. It's very cartoony and silly and stupid.
I agree.
And then they hold up a woman to the window, like a blonde woman with like curly hair.
Yes.
And, before this, they've been bringing up men to the window.
Are these dummies or real actors?
They look like real actors. I feel like it's less expensive to have real actors. They probably were. But Yeah, he like held them up, and then Paul Walker, or the T-Rex would be like, no. And then for like the woman, he like thought about it for a little bit. I thought that was a good bit.
It's okay.
Like, maybe.
It's all right.
And then leave is like, no. But he thought about it. He's like, maybe I'll be a woman. It could be interesting.
Byron is on a determined search. He finds another bae and explains he's gorgeous. You're already telling us this. And I don't know, Tammy doesn't recognize his penis or thinks his penis is too big. Michael is out in the dump truck.
Oh yeah, that's the weird thing. Because he's like, I don't know, he's pretty good. And she's like, not for me. And I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Mean it's too big? That is, weird.
I had no perspective on such a thing.
I don't know if anyone knows at this point. Probably not. Even the writers.
The commentary at this point?
They didn't mention that part at all. I think
Yeah.
they're mostly just talking about, like, how great they were. There's a lot of conversation about, like, how great all the actors are and how, it's so great because they were playing it real. And that's what makes it good. But I don't remember them specifically commenting on the dick thing. Like, I would have remembered it if they had.
Emily's right. B and T start showing dead bodies to Michael through the window. Michael, I love you.
Oh, yeah!
There is so much to this scene. Too short, too hairy, too much like a girl, and the police arrive. Boy, these dead bodies are heavy.
That's one of my favorite parts. I think that's Malibu Canyon, by the way, if you care, anyone cares.
I do care. That's...
Yeah, because I think I remember them talking about it a bunch. Okay, so it's when I think they're leaving the morgue and they're being chased by the cops. Byron and Tammy are in the truck with Michael, the dinosaur, in the back. And Byron says, hang on to your boobs, girl. It's going to be a bumpy ride. To which Denise Richards grabs her boobs. That's one of my favorite parts.
Police arrive and Gunther explains, that's my dinosaur. And that line was written by every toddler-age nephew in the universe. That's a real dinosaur. Gunther and Olga are left stranded. Taped. Does Walkenstein start whizzing? I think he starts taking a leak. Did you notice that?
I don't remember. It's just like another weird thing that happens where I'm like, oh, this is a weird movie.
Yeah, at the end of every take, it's like, how can you finish it? Which is kind of the best improv right now. You stole a GD dinosaur, Budflower says. How's everything going? Byron replies, he's my friend, and I'm keeping him.
Yeah, it's a great line.
Kenny would be proud. Tires squealing. The GD radio. Sheriff Black. What the F? I'm sick. Stole a dinosaur. Highway 23. Hot Pursuit. Take it easy. All right. A little Superman music or Rocky? I agree, the music is questionable. As Tammy and the teenage T-Rex head on into a bumpy ride with American cops on their trails, we head towards the Pittsburgh Wheels, Ontario. You know where I'm going. I'm just playing that card. I'd love it to be California, but I was just playing that card the whole time. Vineyard countryside. Michael is growing. I'm sorry, but I am just fascinated with this scene. Does look like wine country, and they're rolling in the yellow dino truck. Michael's got a big smile on his face as the T-Rex. Great gif. Rolling thunder. A chase continues. If you can read this, the bee fell off. Michael is next to trees. He's mechanical, but he is butthurt. The sheriff's son, Byron, tries to distract. They detain him.
I was just going to say, one of my favorite parts of Byron is, I think, this part. You said he was trying to distract them. I think specifically his dad is driving the vines or whatever. It's like a vineyard, I guess. And he stops where Byron... But he's telling him to stop, and he has his arms in the air, both of his hands up, and he's like waving his hands like up and down and jumping and being like, never mind. It's hard to articulate with words, but it's just great. Just like a great choice for him. Like his way of telling his dad to stop is to jump up like hands up in the air. And it's just beautiful.
I agree. I didn't want to step over your audio. Calm down, Byron.
Yeah.
Sheriff Dad arrives to see a perfect shot of a running dinosaur and Denise Richards.
I knew I never should have left Detroit City.
You see it, Sheriff?
Yeah, I see it. Damn that broken right. What do you want us to do, Sheriff? Call a dog catcher. Is he kidding? Yeah, I'm kidding, Norman. I'm gonna call the state police when I can figure out how the hell to explain all this.
I love that. Call a dog catcher.
Are you serious? Our hero shot with Tammy showing off her GOT, that's Game of Thrones, side with a The Craft inspired crimson velvet dress
The most beautiful dress ever.
with Celtic emblem as belts.
Beautiful. Beautiful dress. She has like doesn't she also have like fishnet black leggings, or they're like sheer black maybe? I feel like she's got some sort of cool leg situation happening as well. She has black heels, which I know because she talked about in her interview about how hard it was to run in heels, but how she didn't want to complain about it because she was like, I didn't want anyone to get mad at me, so she just did it.
She did it.
But I was gonna say,
Please.
that scene was filmed during a fire. And the guy who, I think he was an AD that I mentioned earlier, the guy who shot at the lion with the gun, like the shotgun, he had to bribe for a stranger to let them continue filming because they were evacuating that park because of the fires. And so they were able to continue filming while this fire is happening. So they have this really great hero shot, but also near the beginning of the movie, I think maybe like right after the testicular torsion scene, they just have this very brief shot of the sky, and it's like this beautiful shot. It's like very orange and red, and there's clouds, and there's the sun being obscured, and that was during the fire. And it was just like, I think they had like a fire and an earthquake and like some other weird thing, that natural disaster happened while they were filming, like for like 3 weeks or whatever. It's a very short film shoot, I guess. Just like all this crazy shit was happening at the same time.
Yeah, I would even say the shot you're talking about even sounds like they're doing that at like golden hour or magic hour on top of the fires. And
It just turns the whole sky that color. I remember actually when those fires were happening in the Bay Area a few years ago, even down in LA, the sky was just orange, like for like a whole day, which was just insane.
Well, it just adds to her hero shot because she's riding with the outfit in mention, and she's riding Michael as a T-Rex. Good boy, Michael. Goo boo, Maiku. Sunset or sunrises. We see a bike rider in the Bayside Fields, rolls up to Jaeger's farmhouse. This is all Transformers Age of Extinction references I'm making. Does he have a bike messenger message? A person of color on a bike. Of course, the police are sure to follow. He rolls up to the barn. I'm sorry. I want your laughter on the recording, and if I talk over...
I have to let my cat in.
Okay.
I just want to introduce my cat, really. Because he's putting his little paw under the door, trying to get in. His name's Lucifer. He's literally putting his paw under the door and shaking it so it would be loud so that I'd let him in.
He rolls up to the barn. We saw this barn earlier in the movie. Norval and Neville call the sheriff. Oh, it's Byron on the bike. Hell yes. They have been tumbling in the hay. Michael is sex drunk and hungover. I rode my bike cross country. I'm sorry. Several lines here. You don't ride off into the sunset and not cause a stir. We have to get that scientist back and find a dead body. The cops make their move. Hold your fire. That's my son. He's waving a flag. That's a brazier.
I love that part.
Tammy is grabbed once again. Here comes Wackenstein and that crazy bee. Jerry Springer shouting ensues. We don't know who Michael is. We are not sure if the dino is mecha or bio. Living crystals into memory cells. Memory cells put America back on top. BS.
USA.
Denise Richards is crying her hearts out.
Yeah. Big scene.
Dr. Gunther versus Michael begins. Olga is cautious. Michael chews our Dr. Gunther belly and throws up at Olga. Olga runs and her butts shows.
Her butts shows? Whoa! Olga runs and her butts shows. No.
Oh my god.
I love that though because she runs away and it's like in slow motion too.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a great shot actually. Like she's like stumbling and then she's like, adjusting her skirt and it's actually kind of a cool shot in my opinion.
I agree, and I think the actress is just killing it. She is covered with pantyhose and is actually pulling her skirt down as she runs. I do like this moment for the camera work, and the action of her running and covering is fitting for the scene because the pair had no empathy for others throughout the movie. Run!
Yes.
The cops shoot. Tanny pours her hearts out in a scream. Tammy rolls up in a Toyota Celica. So now we're quickly transitioning out of the shootout.
Forward, yeah.
Front lawn is being mowed. There is an overacted greeting of parents, and I notice my fave flower plant, a bougainvillea, is hanging like most West Coast homes on her outside paneling. I noticed that. It may not be New Jersey or Canada. Justin. She's happy. She's a camgirl for her honey, Michael.
Yeah.
She pours his usual, the Archie Bunker, whiskey to the brain.
He is truly getting the experience that all alcoholics want, because that's probably the fastest you're going to get drunk. It's just pour it right on the brain. And, other alcoholics, so jealous.
It's just not right her being
What a great scene.
like that after what she's been through.
If you ask me, it's not right him being up there like that.
Hi, honey. How you doing?
Is Paul Walker doing the actual voice recording?
It sounds like him. Yeah, I was wondering that when I was listening. Like, I think he probably worked half as much as Denise did and then came back for, those lines only.
You want the usual?
Desperately.
Okay.
What's that about?
Desperately. It sounds like he's sad because he's a brain in a jar in his girlfriend's bedroom, and that's all he is. Of course you're going to become an alcoholic. That's the only, thing you look forward to is, whiskey and, Denise Richards kind of naked, kind of in underwear. Listening to the commentary during that part especially was real weird because Stewart Raffill is going on about how how Denise did not want to do that scene and how he had to convince her and how it's good though because her reluctance, it plays better for the movie. And it's interesting because it's not like it's super revealing. It's basically, it kind of just looks like she's wearing a lacy bathing suit, one piece even. But,
I disagree.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. I just wanted to say I disagree.
With the revealing part?
With the actual, you mentioned it looked like a bathing suit. I don't think it looks like a bathing suit, but I do realize it's an innocent outfit.
I was just thinking, given the context of the scene, and, it's actually pretty tame. And it's rated R, so, I mean, maybe she would have done more if she had been willing.
It definitely looks like a hair metal music video outfit.
Yeah.
But it also looks like a bridal. It's all white lingerie.
It's interesting.
It's odd. You are right though. Denise dances over the top, bridal lingeries, and Michael, as a brain, cannot take any more of this. These hypnotizing leg kicks. I put on my cardboard VR eyepiece device, which I at the time forgot, an Oculus. I put that on, opened my eyes wide shut. only to think I was married overnight?
You're so weird.
Oh my gosh. Like if you were on VR and that's who your VR partner was.
Beautiful. It'd be great. I love it.
Oh, Emily, you are incredible. Hold on a second. I'm not. Poison. Pour Some Sugar on Me explodes, and guitars wail as the exploitation of young Hollywood talents crystallizes in front of our faces. In the objectification, however sensational and well recorded, looks frightening in today's climate of love loss and equality. I was completely turned on. Denise Richards as Tanny is dynamic and magnetic. She's eclectic. I'm shook. Pour some more whiskey on my brain at your parents' house, bae. Let's bring peace back. Let's bring love back. Let's find a dead body for Michael. And we never found out with Small Scientist, did Michael's body and hollow head, skull cap, was the last time we see Michael's dead body? Where's Michael's dead body?
I mean, it's in the grave, right?
I can answer that.
It's in the grave, isn't it?
Well, they pull up an esqueleto that is not at all a high school person. It's like a old man in a bad suit.
Oh.
Skeleton.
Oh, I thought he was just like, I thought that was him, but he was just so badly,
Oh, okay. Decomposed.
yeah, that's
With-
the word. He's
within-
so badly decomposed. They're like, oh, it's okay, we'll find you a new body.
Within
And I
30.
think that's like why they go to the morgue, is because they're like,
Hmm.
oh no, your body's all fucked up.
Yeah, I guess
Gotta-
I'm with you on that, and I guess I just didn't hear with clarity the dialogue, so I was following it a different way. I have one of these explanations of like why the scientist would be doing it. It's a simple answer.
You'll sell more little doggy bodies than people. You'll see. You'll sell more little doggy bodies than people. You'll see.
Oh yeah. I noticed that too.
What are you doing? Real quick. Look, huh? You know what? We are going to put all these people out of business. I mean, there's not going to be any more sniveling, no more fake tears. We'll just give people robot bodies for their brains. I mean, they'll live forever.
Especially the dog part, because I was like, that's true. He's not wrong.
I agree. That's one of those tidbits. It's like, oh, they did try to explain a part of this movie.
You can argue it doesn't matter.
Exactly. I'm arguing it doesn't matter the whole time.
Yeah, I feel like it's never mattered to me what the scientist's motivation was, other than evil, which is fine for this kind of movie. That is funny, though. He's right. People will be replacing their dogs more than they're going to be replacing people.
Robot dogs in dead
Robot?
bodies. Obviously, this movie.
I mean, does it matter? No.
Yeah, it doesn't match up. It's like the background in Mona Lisa's painting, in Mona Lisa's portrait. Emily, do you have any additional thoughts on tonight's movie?
It's a fun time. And oh my god, I had so much fun rewatching this. I don't know if I would have if not for this whole thing. It's such a fun movie.
The
It's
movie
so
club
good.
movies
Yeah.
has its gems for a reason, for sure. I love a movie like this that's rewatchable, and while you watch it, maybe the second time, it's filled with all the questions and funk that we talked about this entire time. I had like a question about, is there another Denise Richards or Paul Walker movie that you enjoy? At this point, maybe you're telling me something I don't know about or wouldn't have known to check out.
If anything, I'd say if someone was asking about an obscure Paul Walker Denise Richards movie, I would mention Tammy and the T-Rex.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I love Fast and Furious movies. They're stupid and fun. I'm gonna watch the shit out of the new one once I get the chance to. Denise Richards, I mean, I love Drop Dead Gorgeous. That's one that not necessarily everyone has seen. And that one's really fun. She's really good in it. She's just kind of a little, she's just prissy and kind of like a bitch. Very different from Tammy and the T-Rex. And then Starship Troopers, which is a great movie. And she's great in it. But, I mean, I have to agree with Stewart Raffill here and say that Denise Richards, like, this is her best role, in my opinion. I don't have any other thoughts, I don't think.
Sounds good.
Yeah, but I had a great time.
Emily, we loved having you here. We're going to have you back at some point. Thanks for showing me this movie so that I can show us this movie. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. I love you.
Be kind. Please rewind.